everyone, it's Raima.
And I'm Matthew.
And I'm Jackson.
And we're out of order. Today we're going to be discussing
the Oscars, the history of Best Picture.
I'm actually really excited to get into this, and we have a guest with us today, Jackson Hauser.
I came on the podcast out of Contemporary Computing. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, we're happy to have you.
We're happy to have you.
Would you call yourself a movie person, Jackson?
I don't know if I'm so much a movie person, but I like the beginnings of most movies.
That's true. Do you finish the movies?
I don't tend to. But it has more to do with my sleep deprivation than my love of movies.
Yeah, and I feel like movies are a big commitment, especially now. Like
Yeah.
normally they run like what, 2 hours?
Well, and short form content has fried my brain, so I don't know if I can ever really keep up.
Who wants to
Unless
watch
there's, like,
movies
little
when you could
Subway
watch
Surfers,
YouTube Shorts?
You can't focus.
Well, without the Subway Surfers and just like
The
constantly
slime.
changing what the content is, I don't know if I can focus.
And yet you watched Ken Burns' Civil War documentary.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Ken Burns' Civil War documentary.
Didn't you meet Ken Burns?
I did meet Ken Burns, and I was in tears when I met him too.
Why?
Well, I met him after I watched World War II.
Didn't
which
he
is one of
create
my
an
favorites.
iMovie transition?
I don't know.
Did he really?
Like the Ken Burns transition on iMovie?
That'd be epic. Can you imagine you have an iMovie transition?
I don't know. I met him like after I watched World War II, and I was like 9 or 10 years old.
You watched World War II?
Yes,
You watched it happen?
Well, it wasn't the whole thing. I think he
You
just
were
took
there.
snippets. But the shell shock part really had me messed up. No, but I met him in tears because I was so it messed me up so bad. My mom was also in tears, but that was more because
Where did you meet him?
Bro, Ken
he was
Burns.
at some random theater.
Ken Burns literally has an iMovie transition.
That's so fun.
That is crazy.
Yes.
My mom had one of his books to sign, and that's why we went.
That is not as cool as what I just said.
That's true. I'm sorry. If you've seen Reservoir Dogs, there's a lot of evil people in that film.
I haven't seen Reservoir Dogs.
Everyone is
It's
evil.
one of
There's
the
not a
only
single good person in that
Tarantino-
movie.
I feel like that describes all of Tarantino.
Yeah,
Like, even like a
Tarantino.
Django Unchained. Like Django's not a good guy. He's like he's not a good person. But he's still a hero. And
A
you still
lot
root
of
for him.
a lot of Reservoir Dogs reminded me of Pulp Fiction, especially because the opening scene is like for Pulp Fiction is when they're in the diner, right? They're
so.
sitting in the diner, like I forget their names.
What's the opening scene of Reservoir Dogs?
They're in a diner. They're in a restaurant, and they're all talking about some song by Madonna, Like a Virgin. Yeah.
Would you say that Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction are similar movies, though?
No, I
Not
don't
very
think
much.
so. No, I think they're very different. But the techniques used for both films, I think there's a lot of repetition with just stylistic choices.
I think there's a lot of movies, though, that start in a diner. Like, that seems like a common film
feel
trope.
like
Hit us, Matthew. What's the data? Any other
I
movies?
don't know any. I don't off the top of my head.
But I feel like there's a lot of emphasis on like useless conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I feel like that's one of Tarantino's strong suits.
Yeah.
Because I think Tarantino, I saw like a reel that was making fun of this, but it was like these dialogue in Tarantino films, like they'll be doing something horrid and just like be having a normal conversation.
Yeah, about like Madonna, like
Yeah.
7 grown men talking about I don't even know.
Yeah, and I think that is why Tarantino has his reputation of the king of dialogue,
Mhm.
and why, in my opinion, there's no one who can write dialogue, with the exception, in my opinion, of Matt Damon. No one can write dialogue as well as Tarantino can.
Well, I think that's also what's so capturing about Tarantino films is that so much is happening all at once. You have something for your eyes and also something for your mind because they're talking at the same time that they're.
Yeah, exactly.
It satisfies my burnt out dopamine.
Right,
So-
exactly.
I mean,
What's our theme? What's our episode theme today? What are we
So-
doing?
Our episode theme is today we're going to be discussing, like I said, we're going to be discussing the history of Best Picture winners. So I got the Best Picture winners from all the way from 1927. And we're just
Matthew.
going to speed run. I'm not going to say every single one.
Okay.
I'm just going to list
okay.
a couple notable.
Have you
Okay.
seen every single one?
No.
Well, he's seen Chinatown though.
Okay. You know, Raima, you haven't seen Chinatown.
I didn't lie about seeing Chinatown.
All right.
I didn't lie. I just said Chinatown.
It was a prank. It wasn't a lie. It was a prank.
Alright, so, do either of you, can you guess the first ever Best Picture winner?
It's
Wall-E.
a Wonderful Life.
It wasn't Wall-E. Sound of
It
Music.
wasn't Wall-E, no. You're about 50 years too late.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm probably off.
Chaplin? It wasn't Chaplin, was it?
Oh, the yeah.
It was
I was-
not. It was
Really?
Wings.
By
1927,
sounds like a
1928.
flop movie.
I have no idea. Genuinely, it's an American style film and synchronized sound film known for winning the first Best Picture.
Can we just jump to the sound ones?
It was quickly re-released because it was unpopular, And the only notable thing I'm going to mention here is that in 1927, guess how many Best Picture nominees there were?
2. 1. 5.
1? Then just give them the award.
Okay, well...
That's the point.
That's the point.
3.
Did I say that?
You've not. You listed, like, every number around.
Okay.
Then 1928 and 29, The Broadway Melody. Then we move into the 30s. We have 1930, All Quiet on the Western Front.
Oh, that makes sense.
Then we have Cimarron, Grand Hotel, A Cavalcade, It Happened One Night, Mutiny on the Bounty, and Grand
But you said you
Seatbelt
weren't
to leave
gonna
us
read them
into
all.
1937. One important thing, It Happened One Night. Do you know what makes It Happen One Night special?
No, Matthew, I do not know what makes
Is this a
that
podcast
special.
or a riddle?
A little bit of both. It is one of 3 movies to win the Big 5 Oscars. Those being Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Actor, and Best Actress. And do you know what 2 movies it shares? Actually, we'll get to those movies.
No, we don't.
Yes, I do. I actually know every single answer to every question you've ever asked
Not
me.
much is, in my mind, notable. A lot of Warner Brothers and Paramount getting nominated.
That makes sense.
Against their own films against each other. A lot of these movies are based on classic novels, A Farewell to Arms, Little Women.
Little Women? What year was Little Women?
Little Women was 1932.
There's a 1930s adaptation of Little Women.
There is.
Isn't it kind of amazing that so many of the best pictures were based on books? Because that's the only medium where you're not having it pictures.
That is very cool.
There's also some plays, A Midsummer Night's Dream and Les Miserables, which I didn't actually know there was another Les Mis. In 1935, there was a Les Mis.
I know nothing about Les Mis. Like, what is that? Is that a book?
You don't know Les Mis?
I've heard the name. But
I know Ellie
it's
was
a
into
very
it.
famous musical. It's about the French Revolution.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I know it was a musical.
Like Mr.
Anne
Peabody and
Hathaway.
Sherman.
Oh, that's so true. That
Yeah,
was about the French Revolution.
That did have the French Revolution.
Yeah.
And
Anne
I actually
Hathaway
think that was
won an
a
Oscar.
similar cultural impact.
When you think about expat kids, like for our AP seminar thing, when you think about expat kids and you think about the immigrant story and the immigrant experience, Mr. Peabody and Sherman really embodies that.
Well, that movie taught me what love was, because the boy wanted to see the girl brushing her hair, and that's when I learned. And that's what love is.
Aren't they like 8?
Wow.
Why was there a love story with 8-year-olds?
You can love. You can love an
You can love. You
Yeah,
weren't
but-
capable of love?
I don't know. 1937, we have The Life of Emile Zola. 1938, we have our first Shakespeare, You Can't Take It With You, wins Best Picture. 1939,
Flop.
the classic.
Shakespeare was such a flop.
I mean, you
No,
can't be saying
Shakespeare.
that.
I'm sorry.
In a school. We're in the English wing.
I was gonna say, there's probably Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, there's 100 Romeo and Juliets right behind you, Jackson.
Flops.
Um,
There's a reason they didn't make it out of this room.
then 1939, Gone with the Wind.
Okay,
wins,
Gone with the Wind.
Oh, see, that was one of my guesses.
beating The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What a shame they had to have those in the same year.
And I think we'll get a lot of that.
How many years were there flops because they couldn't come out with both Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind?
Right.
Probably quite a lot. I mean, I haven't seen like a lot of these. Who knows? Maybe The Grand Ziegfeld is incredibly good.
Maybe.
Then we get into the 40s. We have Rebecca.
Oh, we're only in the 40s?
Oh,
How
my
Green
lord.
Was My Valley? Oh my lord, guys. Missing 44. Weirdly, we go back down to 5 nominees, and in 1944, Going My Way wins. Gaslight, which is the film where we get the term, was released that year.
What's that about?
Gaslighting?
It's like, yeah, it's like this man.
Oh, well,
and
yeah.
His wife getting like convinced nothing's wrong in town. I haven't seen it. I just know that's where we get.
Well,
the
Yeah,
term.
you have.
of course it's about a man.
You've seen it?
I haven't. 50, All About Eve, American in Paris, The Greatest Show on Earth, From Here to Eternity, On the Waterfront, 54, love that film.
Yep.
Marty in 1955, also love that film. Round the World in 80 Days, then in 1957, Bridge on the River Kwai.
Wow. That is a good
Very
movie.
famous movie. Mentioned in the Billy Joel song, We Didn't Start the Fire.
True. And also in the hit NBC sitcom, Parks and Recreation, Ron Swanson's favorite movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie. 1958, Judy.
Nerd.
1959, Ben-Hur, another one. 1960,
I think all these are famous.
The Apartment, yes. 1961, West Side Story.
Oh,
I've got to see that.
1962, Lawrence of Arabia. 1963.
Also mentioned
Tom
in
Jones.
the
Parks
song.
and Rec.
Also mentioned in the song "We Didn't Start the Fire" by Billy Joel.
So was Ben-Hur. I skipped over that one.
Man, he just went through this whole list, I
He
think.
really did. I mean, he went through like everything. He mentioned so many things in that song.
He did a nice job.
It's a fantastic song.
Yeah, and then
Smart
he wrote
guy.
New York State of Mind about West Side Story.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that really
Billy-
No, I'm joking.
Billy Joel was the greatest mind in music for the last 40
In New
years.
York.
He's fantastic. Have you heard him talk about why he dislikes Piano Man?
Yes, I have. Of course I have.
He's like,
There's always
why
gonna be
he's
a
so
hatred.
popular. It's so basic. Like,
Yeah, there's always going to be a hatred between the musician and his most popular
Yeah.
song.
1964, My Fair Lady. 1965, Your Sound of Music.
My dad's comfort movie.
Really?
Hmm
1966, A Man for All Seasons. 1967, In the Heat of the Night. Because the X-rated film the X rating has been abolished.
Yeah, why did they abolish it?
Such a smart rating.
No, I don't know why they put it, because now it's NC-17.
X is worse than R?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Bruh.
Then we go to the 70s. Patton, The French Connection. Then 1972.
Oh my god, The French
The
Connection.
Godfather.
I haven't seen The Godfather. I couldn't get
haven't
through
either.
it. Really?
I have not seen The Godfather.
I'm waiting to watch it at my movie Palace.
In our first episode, Matthew was asking, he was like, it was Al Pacino's birthday, and he was like, what has he even been in? And I was like, The
I
Godfather.
said
And he was
besides
like,
The Godfather.
he was like,
Scarface.
no, he said besides Scarface. I think,
I
yeah.
did.
Those are his two most famous.
1973, The Sting, and 1974,
Oh, The Sting.
The Godfather Part 2.
Well, have you guys seen
74.
Have you guys seen The Sting?
No, I have not.
That's a really good grift movie. If you're interested in grifting, they steal a hotel. That's really the most important part.
Like the whole building?
That's like the whole thing is like they stole the entire building.
Oh. Where did they put it?
I don't remember. I fell asleep before that part.
Of course you did.
Then 1974, like I said, The Godfather Part 2. Do you know, Raima, what other movie came out in 1974 that was
Ooh,
nominated?
yeah, you do. You know it. Say it. This is a home run.
The Godfather Part 3.
Chinatown. In 1975, Jaws did not win, but I love Jaws, so I'm mentioning it. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Do you guys know what honor One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest also holds?
No, we don't, Matthew.
Well, okay. Should I just stop asking the questions?
Maybe-
No.
Just
We should
it's
guess.
got to be the more recent ones. But if I'm gonna guess, what's the thing where an EGOT? Did it win? Did the director win an EGOT?
The director did not win an EGOT.
Okay.
The
Wow, that was my
film
best
won
guess.
an EGOT.
Film, that's not possible. You're close though with awards. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is the second of 3 films to win the Big 5 Oscars.
Oh, is the third one on this list?
Yes.
So next time you ask, we'll know.
Well, I asked other questions. 1976, Rocky. Notably, Taxi Driver.
Yes.
Another notable one from that year. 1977, Annie Hall. Star Wars was nominated but not win.
You know, I'm surprised that Rocky won Best Picture though. When I think of the Rocky movies, I don't know if I think of
That's
like-
especially over Taxi Driver and All the President's Men was also that year.
I mean,
I'm surprised it won over Taxi
like
Driver,
I love
actually.
those. Like I love Rocky.
Yeah.
I love Philadelphia. I know you've also spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania.
right.
Um,
It's a different part of Pennsylvania, but yeah.
Have you not gone? I'm
Norvelt?
assuming have you not gone to Philly?
No, I've never gone to Philly, and I
Really?
hate. Well, people don't know this, but Eastern Pennsylvania and Western Pennsylvania do not get along. They're two different
Really?
states. Well, if you ask somebody from Western Pennsylvania if they think that Pittsburgh is part of the Midwest, you get split answers. Because personally, in terms of culture, Pittsburgh is definitely part of the Midwest. It's more similar to what Midwest cities than it is to any Eastern.
What about the
city.
Rust Belt?
Well, the Rust Belt, that doesn't really count. I don't like when they call it that. It makes me feel dirty.
Well, it is Rust, so.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's because Apollo Creed. That was a whole big deal. Is that they let him fight a black guy.
Yeah.
Was it really? Was that actually? Like a
I mean, like that's why that was a culturally big movie at the time. When was that? When was Rocky released? Well, yeah.
1976.
Exactly. It was a really big deal to have a prominent black actor and a white actor fight each other, and have the black actor win in the first part.
I mean, yeah. Well,
Maybe we'll leave that in.
I've met the
We'll cut out
guy.
my joke.
I met the guy who threw the orange at Rocky.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
He owns a meatball store.
Oh.
Because Rocky.
Not an orange
Sylvester
store?
What?
Not an orange store?
No.
Oh. Should've left that meatball.
Sylvester Stallone had like no money, so the way they filmed that scene with the running scene is they just had a van with a camera and they would just like slowly drive in front of Rocky, and like there's a crowded street merchant and they didn't get like a permit or anything, so those are just real merchants, and so they did like 20 takes just driving up and down the street, and so the dude who threw the orange at him, like his wife was like, "Yep, throw this orange at him, like it'll be funny." And they weren't expecting him to catch it, and they caught it.
Wow.
So I met the dude who threw the orange.
That's
at
so
Rocky.
sick.
That's
Makes
awesome.
very good meatballs. 78, Deer Hunter. 79, Kramer vs. Kramer, notable nominee.
Do these
Apocalypse
say
Now.
notable nominee, or do you just know that they're notable?
No, I'm just saying, I guess, yes, I should be saying, I'm saying the ones I believe to be notable nominees.
Got it.
Obviously, most of these movies
The
are
ones
very
I note.
notable.
Yeah.
Yes. 1980, Ordinary People. 1981, Chariot of Fire. Raiders of the Lost Ark was that year. 1982, Gandhi, with E.T. being nominated.
What?
1983, Terms of Endearment. 1984,
Gandhi won?
Amadeus. Yes. 1985, Out of Africa. 1986, Platoon. 1987, The Last Emperor. 1988, Rain Man. 1989, Driving Miss Daisy. Field of Dreams and Dead Poets Society were both nominated in '89. Which I love Dead Poets Society.
Not as good as Tortured Poets Society, though.
Oh my god. Stop.
We can cut that part out.
1990,
You're absolutely leaving that in.
Dances with Wolves. Notably, both Goodfellas and The Godfather Part 3 were
Goodfellas
nominated.
didn't win? Wow, Kevin
Goodfellas
Costner.
won.
How are you going to be Kevin Costner?
True.
He's
Oh my
in
god.
Dances with Wolves. I haven't seen it.
Better Call Saul reference. Remember when Jimmy lied about being Kevin Costner to get that woman to be with him?
Oh my gosh, you're so right. That does happen.
Yeah. Dances with Wolves, Kevin Costner. He's the star.
How can I not remember the plot of an hour movie, but I remember the plot of like...
Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. 1991, Silence of the Lambs. Notably, Beauty and the Beast was nominated but did not win.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it won the Oscar.
Wow,
for
those are
the
two very similar movies. I understand.
Well, do you know what is special about Silence of the Lambs?
Oh, is it the third one to...
To win the Big Five. Jackson's learning. Why are you high-fiving him? You didn't,
No.
you didn't contribute.
She looked at me with a twinkle in her eye, and I knew that one.
1992, Unforgiven. 1993, Schindler's List. 1994, one of my least favorite movies ever, Forrest Gump.
Wow. You don't like Forrest Gump?
You know who
Every
likes
time
Forrest
I watch
Gump?
it, I think this is just dumb. Also nominated that year, Pulp Fiction and The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
my
Shawshank. How did
gosh.
Shawshank Redemption not win? That was probably one of the best movie watching experiences in my
Uma
life.
Thurman.
96, The English Patient.
Mel Gibson. I role model.
1997, Titanic.
Do you want me to...
No.
I don't like Titanic.
I don't either.
That's
And
the
you know
one
what
I don't.
annoys me is, you know, it was also nominated in 1997.
What was?
Good Will Hunting.
What? I was just about to say Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, you should have done it.
Fantastic movie and should have won, and it did win screenplay.
Well, my
but
second guess was Chinatown, so that would have been
It was nominated again.
1998, Shakespeare in Love, Life is Beautiful, and Saving Private Ryan were both nominated that year. 1999, American Beauty, Green Mile, and Sixth Sense. were
Oh,
both
Green
nominated.
Mile. Did you guys see Green Mile?
Fantastic.
That movie
Fantastic.
rocked me to my core. Seeing the what's the you don't know the actor, the black guy, but the accused guy, the innocent guy, him crying about the lights being out, set up the saddest course of action that I've ever seen in a movie. Him not being able to sleep with the lights off, that hurt me so deep inside.
It's
What a truly
honest.
innocent man on the inside, and it just the acting in that was so good.
Gladiator, 2001, A Beautiful Mind, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring was nominated that year.
Extremely, what is it?
Overrated.
Valid.
2002,
Lord of the Rings was
Chicago.
groundbreaking. Chicago.
We'll get back to Lord of the Rings. 2002, Chicago, Lord of the Rings, The Twin Towers, and The Pianist, which you love, were both nominated that year.
Yes.
You know
I
what's
think
crazy to
Pianist-
me about
Pianist
Chicago?
won something.
Let's be
Oh,
careful
Adrian,
with the
Adrian
pronunciation.
Brody
Adrian won.
Yeah, he was the youngest.
What you want to know what's interesting about Chicago 2002?
What's
It's a
interesting?
musical, right?
Yeah.
It did not win Best Original Song, because you know it did win Best Original Song that year.
Pianist.
Eminem for "Lose Yourself" in 8 Mile.
Oh, that makes sense.
Very
That's a good
interesting.
original
Does
song.
not make sense.
It is.
Also, these flies are really bothering me, guys. Why are they
Womp
all...
womp.
This is where Buzz
2003,
would die.
Lord of the Rings: The
Sorry.
Return of the King, the third in the trilogy. They give him. They
How are you
give
going to
all
say
the
it's
Oscars.
overrated when literally every single movie is nominated for something?
Pretty
Can
much.
we agree that sometimes overrated films get nominated for things?
No.
I do agree.
Oh, okay.
I do agree.
No.
2004, $1 Million Baby. 2005, Crash, notably Brokeback Mountain. 2007,
sorry.
No Country for Old Men. Notably.
Old Country for Old...
No Country for Old Men. Old Country for No Men.
I tried watching No Country for Old Men.
Countrymen.
Slept through that one too.
Did you
You're just
see
like my
what
mom.
the other nominee of that year, which was There Will Be Blood?
No, I haven't. Who's in
And
There Will Be Blood though?
Daniel Day-Lewis. And the dude who played the Riddler in Batman, who I can never
Oh.
Willem Dafoe?
I wouldn't
No.
know
No,
that.
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
2008, Slumdog Millionaire. Then
Oh my God,
2009.
Dev Patel was in that, right?
I think so.
Yes.
I have no idea. I haven't actually seen it.
How embarrassing would it be if somebody watched this and was like, no, he was not. I was dead wrong on that.
2009 is the year that they move to 10 nominees.
From 5.
From 5. Okay.
From
got
5. So in 2009, the Hurt Locker one.
They didn't tell us.
Notable
Oh,
nominees.
she was the first female director. Who directed that?
Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah, she's the first female director to win.
That's atrocious.
Yeah.
2009?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I feel like there's a lack of like encouragement for women to go into film. I feel like, or there was. You know, there's like not many.
That's humiliating for us as men and as a country. Me and Matthew apologize.
We do.
They won't pick you, Jackson. They're not gonna pick you.
Doesn't matter. I'm a radical feminist. Keep going.
2009, other notable nominees include the now very controversial Blind Side.
Oh, that is so controversial.
Avatar.
I understand why it's controversial, and I still think it is a fantastic movie.
I haven't actually seen it.
It's okay.
I haven't seen it
Well,
either.
I have a soft spot in my heart for race movies and for sports movies. And The Blind Side and Remember the Titans, those are two of my favorite
Wait,
movies.
race like Vroom Vroom or race like?
No, race like.
Okay.
But
For those of us listening, Jackson said race and then pointed to his arm.
but anyway, no, I like movies. Whatever the mom is in that movie is a great actor.
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock, I love Sandra.
Yes.
And I just think I think it's a good movie. I know that they embellished and lied and cheated him, but what are you gonna do?
Also that year, final nominee I will say, or did I already say Avatar? Because Avatar was that year, as well as Up, which is one of my favorite.
All right.
Up is the most overrated. Disney movie.
I think I was born.
How are you gonna say
Up
that?
is overrated.
The most incredible entrance to a Disney movie, and then just completely fail the audience with such a ridiculously crazy.
I think I was born and put on this earth, and not only born on this earth, but brought to America to defend the Avatar movie.
Oh my gosh, I love the Avatar movie.
The Avatar movies are good.
How
The
are you going to say
premise-
it's not good? They had to keep it in theaters for a month straight because people kept buying tickets. That's why it's the most grossing movie, or was before Endgame. It was because people just kept going to watch it.
I don't think it's good.
It's really good.
Okay, wait a second. Sorry. Back up. So you think that Avatar is overrated, and you think that Titanic is overrated.
But you think Up is good.
And then you think that Forrest Gump is overrated. Those are the three greatest movies that have ever
Three
made.
of, yes.
Three
Three
of the
of,
top 10.
right.
Well, is Forrest Gump in the top 10 grossing?
I don't believe
No, I don't.
No, it should be outside because it wasn't made by a big.
Nar.
But 3 of the highest rated movies,
I will
you're
say-
gonna underrate them.
Forrest Gump is, I think, what propelled one of the greatest decades for any actor in Tom Hanks.
Tom
He
Hanks is the
had that,
best actor of
he
all
had-
time.
I concur. But
Yeah.
he had that, he had Castaway, he had Saving Private Ryan, he had Catch Me If You Can. Like, he had a great
Was that before?
decade.
He had a
After
great
Green Mile?
run.
What?
Was that before or after Green Mile? Debatably one of his
Ooh,
best
yeah.
performances.
Green Mile was also one that spent, like,
Well, and don't forget Toy Story too. I mean,
I was in that time as well. Tom Hanks
Who
had
was he?
great-
Bud Lightyear?
Toy Story wouldn't have been that good,
Wait.
but he got 4 of those too. I mean, that's the most impressive part. They got 4 of those.
I
out
meant
of
Buzz
them.
Lightyear, not Bud Lightyear.
2010, The King's Speech. Notable these include Black Swan, Inception, The Social Network, and Toy Story.
Oh my
3.
God.
Social Network.
2011, we have The Artist. Do you guys know what is notable about The Artist winning Best
It
Picture?
can't be the third one. Come on, think.
The fourth one?
No, 1 and 3.
Oh, was it only 5 nominated? No, it could be that. We're up to 10. I'm trying to think. What other criteria did he give us? This is like he gave us stimulus.
I don't know if I kind of established this at the very beginning.
It's got to be an award of some kind. Was it the first?
It's not an award. It's not an award.
Alright, I give up.
But it is this thing.
First
It is
silent
the
movie?
Most recent movie. Close. The most recent silent movie.
Bro, I'm him. I'm literally
the most
her.
recent black and white film.
I'm literally
to
her.
win this picture.
I'm literally
What
her.
year was that?
2011.
year was
They
that?
just did that for fun.
Les Miserables. 2013, we have 12 Years a Slave. Do you guys know what is notable about 12 Years a Slave?
Oh, come on.
Yes, we do.
Every one of the actors got an award.
No.
Oh, okay.
We know what's notable,
But
though. He wasn't saying that.
The
That's
person
what's
who
notable.
wrote 12 Years a Slave is the only Homestead graduate to win an Oscar.
What the heck?
Really?
Mhm.
Oh, don't say only. Like that's not some crazy established. I mean, that's to win an Oscar. That's one of the best achievements.
No,
of
that's
Wait,
saying only, like-
that is
like
actually
he's achieved it,
crazy.
yeah.
That's
Wait,
so
is he
cool.
famous or is he a flop?
he has an Oscar. He's not that much of a
Well, actually,
flop.
while we're talking about notable Homestead alumni,
While we're talking about flops.
Tom Segura, did you know that he went to Homestead?
He went to Homestead?
Yeah, his freshman year, he was on the football team. In fact, I think there's a picture of, I'm seeing a picture of him in the school. Like, he's on one of the pictures somewhere.
That
Also
is
in 2013
crazy.
was Dallas Buyers Club and Wolf of Wall Street. 2014 was Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. Also that year was Grand Budapest Hotel and
Oh,
Selma.
good film, good
The dark
film.
ages of film.
Yeah.
2015 we have Spotlight. Also that year was The Revenant and The Martian. 2016, do you guys know what happened in 2016?
That was
The Killer
before
Clowns.
Oh, Trump was elected.
That did happen in 2016.
The
but
Killer
no one-
Clowns in October.
What?
The Kill.
Before
That
2016.
was.
That was not. That was
in
2016.
Right. 2016, they famously announced the winner
Well, if it's
of
famous.
Best Picture.
Oh,
to
wrong.
be La La Land.
They-
Oh, and it was
announced it when
Moonlight.
won, yeah.
And it was Moonlight.
They did
So
give-
I'm so glad La La Land didn't win. Moonlight.
I love La La
Moonlight
Land,
provides.
but it shouldn't have won.
Moonlight is a movie that so well encapsulates what it's like to be gay, but also what it's like to be struggle with your masculinity as a gay person, and especially within a community that is so like it's so important like for you to be a traditional and masculine man, for it to like talk about the struggles of like not fulfilling those criteria.
Can you speak to that at all, Matthew?
I cannot speak to that gay man. Anyway, 2017, we have The Shape of Water. The nominee of that year is one of your favorites, Lady Bird.
Who's in Shape of Water that I know?
Guillermo del Toro directed it. Sally Hawkins, Michael Shannon, Richard Jenkins, Doug Jones.
Huh. I thought somebody was in it that I know.
Also that year was Get Out.
Oh.
Jordan Peele's, yeah.
2018.
When you watch that movie for the second time, like there's so much foreshadowing that goes into it, and you don't realize it the first time you watch it, and you watch it the second time, you're like, oh.
How many times has Jordan Peele been nominated? That could have been his first, was it?
Only twice.
Only twice.
Oh man, that's a shame. 'Cause
No, I think only once.
Jordan Peele has had some bangers.
Because I don't think Nope was nominated.
Well, I think that also.
Us definitely was not.
I mean, rated R movies get kind of pushed out a little bit
Especially
more.
horror rated R movies.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum,
Green Book
bum,
in 2018. 2019 we have Parasite, which
Good pick.
broke barriers because I
Broke
believe
barriers.
it was the first
Ugh.
Korean film
Yes.
to win.
Yeah.
And one of the first to be nominated.
I'm glad that recently they've been opening up more like international films to like
I agree.
win
Yeah, thank goodness.
win film. Yeah. Thank
2020
goodness.
Nomadland.
Stop
Nominees
buzzing.
include
This is
Judas and the Black Messiah and The Trial of Chicago 7, which are two of my favorite movies. Especially,
The Chicago 7, that was what we learned in A-Push, right? Like the.
we did, and then I used actual dialogue from the Chicago 7 for my AP seminar presentation.
Really?
Yeah, the Abby Hoffman quote. That's like a quote from the actual trial.
That's pretty good.
You're him.
2021, we have Coda. Nominee in that year includes West Side Story.
Again.
Again.
The 2019 remake. Or-
How did they get it twice? That's so impressive because they've already seen it. Like they already know the ending, and yet they
yeah,
still,
and they still.
they bring it back.
It was directed by Spielberg. They were just like, we need a 10th. What has someone got? Spielberg made a movie this year. Let's nominate that one.
What do you think is on this list more? Movies that have been directed by Spielberg or movies that have been composed by John Williams?
Ooh.
Because that's, I mean, like, think Indiana Jones. I mean, I guess a lot of them were nominated. Indiana Jones was nominated a couple times and didn't win.
I
Wall-E,
think it's got to be.
uh,
I think it's
Star Wars movies.
Well, there's only one Star Wars on here,
right.
the original. So that just gives one to.
How many has Spielberg won on here?
How many has he won? I think.
I think
A
Spielberg,
million.
Spielberg has to win.
Spielberg is.
What was this? Do you know what Spielberg's first was?
I don't know.
Look it up.
I will check in a second. We're almost through.
I can check.
So I'm gonna finish up. Yeah, do you want to check that up while
Yep.
I leave? Give us our last two.
Mm-hmm.
2022, you have Everything Everywhere All at Once. And last
And
year,
Matthew didn't think it was good because
I thought
He
it
didn't
good.
understand it.
I
It's
thought it
hard
was
to
good.
track.
I thought
My
it was
little-
good.
my
I
little
just
brother
didn't-
loves it.
Really?
Yeah, 8 years
I
old.
thought it was great. Don't get me
wait.
wrong. I thought it was good. I thought it was very good. I just didn't think it deserved Best Picture.
What was
I
your
thought it
guys'
was
question?
show up.
Spielberg's first.
How many
Best
Best
Picture.
Pictures? Spielberg has won.
Oh yeah. First and how many, I guess.
Okay, well, we can't really ask that.
And then 2023, obviously, we had probably one of the greatest movies of recent times, Oppenheimer. I
never saw it.
Schindler's List.
Schindler's List is first?
Yeah, is his... okay. He received 13 Oscar nominations for Best Picture, and I think Schindler's List was his first one. But his first major directorial effort was Sugarland Express.
Yes, I did know that.
Yes.
I'm looking up John Williams and seeing. He has 5. Fiddler on the Roof, Jaws, Star Wars, E.T., and Schindler's List. But those are... those are Academy Award-winning Best Original Score. Oh, but those aren't...
Yeah, it's going to be hard to find.
Yeah, because they don't keep track of that kind of thing.
Yeah, because they really just look at directors and producers when they're considering who has won Best Picture.
We have to go back through manually, and nobody wants to do that.
Not really, no.
Do we make it all the way through the list?
We did. 2023.
I thought the best ones were long before the 2000s. I mean, early 2000s and 90s were probably the best stretch.
90s were a really great time for
80s too.
films. 80s.
I mean, just look at the one year where it's
even late 70s. Like
Godfather Part 3 and Goodfellas, and they didn't win.
Yeah.
Or like Pulp Fiction.
Super competitive.
Yeah, how did they make those in the same year?
And Shawshank Redemption.
Oh.
And they both lost.
Yeah, what a sad pick. 'Cause, I mean, some of these years were just some respectfully garbage movies in comparison to the other ones on this list. I mean, that goes to show that movies all about timing. You know, because imagine if they hadn't put Goodfellas and Godfather 3 in the same year. We'd all be in the mafia now.
Right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening.
Hope you guys have enjoyed our brief and also kind of extensive deep dive into, it's not really a deep dive, but our dive into
our dip.
Our little dip into all the Best Picture nominees.
Thank you for coming on, Jackson.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me. This is great.
Yes, of course.
Excited to be back sometime.
Yeah.
Alright.
We don't. This was awful. But
hope you guys have a wonderful day. Go listen to our other episodes if you haven't, and we will see you guys next Wednesday.
bye, guys.
Farewell.